My name is Chrissy Sykes, or Morongwa, which is the South African name I have proudly been given. Like many of you, protecting children and empowering them to be safe is my life's mission. Our program is currently in 30 languages. It's been presented to well over 2.7 million children in over 60 countries. Globally, MBIMB is helping communities create a culture of safety, respect, and open communication. But today, let's focus specifically on South Africa, where we've seen an incredible impact thanks to dedicated local ambassadors and a partnership with Rotary International. In South Africa, MBIMB has trained over 90 ambassadors who actively embed our program into early childhood development centres, schools and community projects. Feedback from educators and safeguarding leaders constantly highlight that children not only grasp the important message of safeguarding through music, but also they're empowered to speak up confidently when they feel unsafe. One heartwarming example from a primary school in Johannesburg, where just after a few sessions, teachers noticed an immediate increase in children's willingness to discuss personal boundaries and seek help. This is the kind of transformative impact we want to see.
Chrissy, thank you for such an amazing introduction to your program. But I think we would like to hear a little more from you about the origins of this project. Where did the passion for this project come from?
Okay, well, I didn't actually set out to do this program. I had been invited to the USA by a Nashville producer because I was a singer and songwriter in South Africa. And on my way to America, I came across this story about a little girl called Kimberly who died as a victim of child abuse. She looked very much like my 4-year-old little girl, so the story really tore my heart apart. And I wrote a song on the way to America called Kimberly. I was at somebody's house one night and they said, "Will you please play the piano?" So I said, "Oh, I'll play the song that I've just written." Not knowing that the head of the state of Texas child abuse prevention was there. And he came up to me afterwards and said, "Can we use your song for Child Abuse Prevention Month?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Would you, as part of this, do a month-long tour around Texas and raise awareness about child abuse?" Which I said, "I would love to." So we put the song out. We raised about $70,000 for the state of Texas, which was amazing. And then I started doing this tour, thinking that I was going to do things like Rotary clubs or sort of church groups and sort of talk to parents. And so the first day I got there, they said, "Oh, we've booked you into a school." And there was 500 children in front of me. So I got there, I got my guitar out and I sang a few songs and I spoke to the children and I shared with them that I had been sexually abused as a child, never having ever told anyone before. So I came out to 500 children. But at the end of sharing with them, we got about 15% of the children come forward. And then the next day we had a high school with 2,000 children and exactly the same thing happened. So many children came forward to share what was happening with them. And by the end of the week, I said to the people we were touring with, which was the Department of Social Services and the Department of Education, that I think that the combination between the music and what I'm saying was making a difference with the kids because they weren't anticipating all these kids coming forward. I said, I think music is the key because it's such a difficult subject. So I said, "Do you want me to write a program using music?" So I said, "Give me everything that you've got that you want to go into a program and I'll write the program." And I spent the next 3 months looking around and writing and, refining the program. And that became the My Body is My Body program. The songs are still the same songs that we use 35 years later. So it was crazy. And I spent the next 5 years touring around America, Texas, Tennessee, Atlanta, Virginia, Florida, all sorts of places, and I taught personally 350,000 children. And we were so successful with the program. We broke up pornography rings. So many children came forward that we were able to help. But on top of that, how many child abuse, um, how many things did we prevent for children? And that is even more important, that we got kids that were prevented from being abused. And that's what our program's all about.
Yes. So from its very roots, it started out as an amazing, powerful tool for young people. That is great to hear, Chrissy. Could you please share with us some critical statistics or information that we should know about how, unfortunately, how prevalent child abuse is around the world?
Yes, because please, to anyone that's listening, don't think it doesn't happen in your community, because it does. It happens in every single community. The statistics are over 1 billion children
Mm,
are abused every year. 1
mm,
billion. And that is sexually, physically, emotionally, and also children that are neglected. So that is round about 50% of all children. And we really have to do something about it. And with the advent of the internet, we're finding it's even more prevalent that children are abusing children, because they're learning things that they shouldn't be learning on the internet. So it's imperative that we start teaching children as young as possible. Now, we say with the My Body program, you can start with children from the age of 3. As long as they are aware of their bodies, that they have a body, you can start teaching them that it's your body and you have a right to say no if something feels uncomfortable.
Yes, yes, yes. That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. It's a sad statistic, but that's why we have programs like My Body is My Body to teach young people that they have a voice and how to use it. You've already shared a few testimonials with us. Could you share a few key more to kind of bring home how powerful this prevention program has been around the world?
Yes, well, we get stories literally every week.
Mhm.
But I'll share one with you from a little girl in Sudan, because it just shows the life-changing difference it makes. She was accosted by a man. She was out playing, and because she'd been taught the program, she screamed and she ran home to her daddy.
Mhm.
She told her dad what happened. He took her down to the police station, and she explained to the policeman that the man had showed her his private parts, and she was quite explicit with what she said. And he turned around to her and said, "How can you speak so well about this problem?" Because most children, when they get into these sorts of situations, they just freeze. They don't know what to do, which is why we've got to share is
Yes.
such important information. And she just turned around to him and she says, "I have done the My Body is My Body program." And it was just amazing that this little girl's life had changed because she'd done our program. And I'd
Mm.
like to share something else with you. We've got an
Please.
amazing team
Mhm.
in South Africa, um, of girls empowerment, a group, and they work tirelessly with us. And this is from our Pastor Rose in the Limpopo province. She says the My Body is My Body program has become so much more than a set of lessons. It's a movement in our community. It's brought us together, uniting parents, teachers, and children, and helping our street children learn about body safety and emotional intelligence. What began as a small initiative has now reached other centers, cutting across fears and barriers. In fact, 80% of our community has now been touched by the MBIMB program, with 20 ambassadors trained online and peer educators spreading the message even further. We're seeing real change in behavior of the children, proof that when a community stands together to protect its children, transformation happens. Now, that is straight out of the mouth of our girls' empowerment
Yes.
ambassadors.
Yes. And that is absolutely amazing. Again, just the power of prevention and how you can give young people a voice and how it's easily done through song.
Yeah.
Music is one of the easy gateways to get information to people, especially children. So we are so grateful that My Body is My Body exists. Chrissy, tell people how they can access this amazing tool.
Actually, so everything is free. Just to let you know, all our programs, all our courses, everything is free because we do not want any community not to be able to have this program. So that is one of our key or primary points is it's got to be free. So they can reach us at MBIMB.org, which stands for My Body is My Body, MBIMB. And you'll find we've got our program in 30 languages. So we can cover a fair size of the world with the languages that we've got. And if you don't see your language there and you'd like to volunteer to do some translations, we would love to do more translations so that we can reach even more communities. But as I say, everything's on our website. We've got hotlines that people can access if there's any problems, if they suspect a child's being hurt. You can phone from our website. It won't cost you anything. And as I say, resources in 30 languages, program in 30 languages, and it's all there to be used.
That is amazing, Chrissy. And lastly, what is on the horizon for My Body is My Body? What can we expect to be new out there?
Okay, well, we've just put out a new peer pressure course, which is really important for our young teens because they definitely are struggling at the moment with all the digital problems and cyberbullying and everything. So we thought a peer pressure course would be good. So that can be accessed again on our website. And we're also doing a safeguarding course. We've got one for adults, but we want to do one for youngsters so that they understand the word safeguarding and what it's all about. So we've got our programs for the little ones, sort of up to 10. So this will be sort of the new course will be like from 10 to 14, 15 years old to understand safeguarding within their communities and what they can do to make their communities safer.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you, Chrissy, for sharing such a powerful tool with the world. And we are excited to see where this is going to go and even more encouraged about the voice that it is going to give to young people and even their parents as they sit with them and also learn that they have a voice as well. I can definitely see the widespread impact that this can have. So again, Chrissy, thank you so much for sharing My Body is My Body and this work and even the lives going forward that this program would change. Chrissy, thank you so much.
It's been my absolute pleasure, Rashika. Thanks for interviewing me.
Yes, yes, my pleasure. Have a good one.